Hi, I'm Becca and I'm addicted to media. So I've tried to make some sort of version of this video multiple times over since September of 2016 when I stopped uploading and stopped making videos. But I wasn't ever in a place that I was good enough to talk about what happened and why I went away and why I stopped making videos, and I kept thinking that I would get better, and I kept thinking that things would get better and that I would feel well enough to film this video. And every time I got in front of the camera, it just got so awful and awkward, and I was bitter and angry at my situation. I didn't want to film this video like that, so I didn't. I stopped trying to film this video. I stopped trying to film anything at all or editing anything because I felt like there was sort of this big elephant in the room. Some people probably didn't even notice that I was gone. I don't have a lot of subscribers. I do appreciate everybody who is subscribed to me, thank you. But I don't have a big enough subscriber base that I felt like people would even notice that I was gone, except for some people who I know in my personal life. So I know those people noticed because they have talked to me about it in person, and they know why I stopped filming. I thought that it would be inappropriate for me not to address the situation, especially because it's such a big part of my life. This thing that I was going through and am still dealing with, but on a much lesser level. So today we're going to talk about why I was gone and a few of those reasons in detail. As I have mentioned in a few other videos, including my productivity video, and much more recently, I mentioned in a video about the Diversathon that I have something called endometriosis, and that's basically where the uterine lining, the uterine tissue, grows in places it's not supposed to. So basically not in your uterus. And this can create really painful periods and just pain in your everyday life if you're super lucky and you get it super bad, or you just happen to have really intense symptoms. And I have really intense symptoms. My entire last year of college I was struggling with this, but I pushed it aside and I just kept working. So after college I crashed hard, and that's because being in pain all the time becomes really exhausting, to the point where you can have extremely low levels of energy, and if you push yourself past that point of what you have, of what amount of energy you have, you can end up with nothing, to the point where you can't walk, you can't get out of bed to eat, you cannot bathe yourself, you obviously aren't putting on clean clothing, and it's a really bad situation that put me into a really bad place emotionally and obviously physically. I gained a bunch of weight. I felt really, really sick all the time, as I had been feeling for multiple years, and I became really depressed. I knew that I wouldn't be able to hold a job, not because of my depression. I'm one of those people who will work through depression. Working actually makes me a happier person, but I was in so much pain and I was so exhausted all the time, I knew that I would not be physically able to work. So I stopped looking, and I started looking for a way to cure myself, to fix myself. If you do a little bit of research into endometriosis, you will know that there is no cure, but there are ways to minimize the symptoms that you have, including birth control and painkillers, but there's also several different types of surgery where they go in and they cut the lesions and they cut the endometriosis tissue out of where it's not supposed to be, where it's not supposed to be growing. Now there's two different types of this surgery, and one of those is called ablation, where they laser it off, and unfortunately that is the way that it is handled the most often, and it is also really ineffective. Women end up having to have 5 to 10 surgeries before they find any sort of relief, and some women never find relief. The other surgery, the one that I really want, is called excision surgery. They cut all the way around the lesions and all of the endometriosis tissue, and they get every piece of it out. It's very expensive, and there are only so many people in the entire world that actually perform the surgery. It just so happens that there is one doctor in the area that is known for this surgery. And so after college, I researched, I found this doctor, and I was all set to go have this surgery. There was one problem. I did not have health insurance, and we could not afford it. So I spent the next 3 years here trying to figure out a way to afford it. We finally just bit the bullet recently, and I am on a much better health insurance. It will basically cover nothing. We're going to have to take out a lot of loans, but it covers way more than every other health insurance. Over the past 3 years, my symptoms have worsened, and I have gone through bouts of depression and trying to claw myself out of this hole and trying to keep busy. That's why I started a booktube channel, because I love to read, I love to talk about books, so I thought what better way than to keep myself busy than talking about books and doing something that I love. And what happened is I couldn't keep up with all of the filming, so I cut back, and I kept cutting back, and I kept rearranging my schedule, and I kept rescheduling out what I wanted to do and how I wanted to do it. And a lot of times I would fall behind on that schedule that I set up for myself because I was too sick. I felt I was in too much pain, and I was too exhausted to be able to sit in a computer chair and edit a video. Like, that was my life. I just couldn't do it. A lot of days I would barely be able to get out of bed, and the only things I was able to do was make food for myself and make food for my boyfriend, and that was all I did that day. I might not even shower. I might not even get dressed. I might not make the bed. I might not do any of the basic things that you think are just givens in any day. And that's pretty much what I was talking about in my productivity video. And it's really hard for me to watch myself back then in those videos, because I can see how unhappy I was, and that I was trying to kind of put on a facade that I was happy and that I was healthy, and it was a lie. And it was hard to watch. And then there would be some videos where I was obviously very happy and I was having a good day, and those were hard to watch when I wasn't feeling good. And it was hard to watch other people's videos because they were so obviously in a better place than me. Like, sometimes not, sometimes yes, but I just started to feel the pressure of trying to be this person that I couldn't be all the time. And I started to feel stressed. I stopped loving what I was doing. And that all accumulated into this really awful thing that happened in September. What was happening to my body is I got a different kind of birth control. So for a really long time I was on the pill. I decided I really wanted the Mirena IUD. And I looked it up. I did a lot of research. It seemed like it was a 50-50 shot for me that it would make things better. The Mirena IUD pretty much promises that you will not have any period. Instead, after I had the IUD put in, my periods lengthened. When I'm not on birth control, my periods are about 8 days. And that's pretty long, and they are also really heavy. And what it did is it seemed like it took all of the amount that I would normally have during a period and stretched it out into 14 to 20 day periods with only maybe a week to 10 days in between those periods. I was basically on my period all the time, and it was awful. One morning I woke up and I had this really sharp stabbing sensation, and I was terrified that the IUD had punctured my uterus, and I didn't want any part of that. So I went to the ER because that's the only thing that my insurance covered. I didn't have a doctor at the time, and I had it taken out. The things that I went through during that time were just awful. I just felt really uncertain about myself and my body, and I didn't know what was happening, and it was a really scary time. So finally my periods started to seem to regulate themselves back to the way that my body wants them to be, which is 8 days, and then something crazy happened. After day 8, instead of tapering off and, going back to the rest of my cycle where I'm not on my period, I started to bleed a lot more. I thought I was dying. And after a day of this, we went to the emergency room. I passed out in the waiting room. I fainted, and it seemed like I was hemorrhaging blood, and I was diagnosed with menorrhagia, which is where you have really abnormal heavy flow happening. I felt really, really weak, really sick. I finally got on birth control prescribed to me at the ER. That's what I had to do. I started getting back to a more normal period, and now I have a birth control period, which is 4 days, and not super, super crazy, but still pretty heavy, and it's manageable and I can deal with it. But I felt really, really sick. I was really, really weak. And the reason that is because I had really low iron because I had lost so much blood. I had no appetite, and I had to force myself to eat a lot of times. And I had to start counting calories to make sure that I was getting at least an okay amount. I felt weak and sick and ill all the time. And I was so depressed and in such a bad mental space that I stopped reading. I didn't read anything from September until January. I didn't read one single book. And I didn't feel like watching TV, which is something that is so much a part of my life, is watching TV, watching movies, playing video games. My name on here is addicted to media. It's what I do. I consume media. That's all I ever do. And to say that I was so depressed that I didn't even want to do those things that are such an integral part of who I am should give you an idea of what was going on mentally with me. I realized that something had to change. So my first step was to see a doctor. She confirmed that my iron levels were okay. She also checked to make sure that my hormone levels were okay, that I didn't have a thyroid problem. So essentially what I have been doing since the beginning of the year is going to see doctors, scheduling appointments. I've been working on a bunch of cosplay stuff because that is what was making me happy at the time, is being creative in a different way. And I finally started getting back into reading. But I don't know if I'll ever be at the same level I was that one year when I read like 150 books. And I have been making more realistic schedules for myself as far as projects that I have been working on, including cosplay. I kind of figured out how long things would take for me with cosplay, and I stopped scheduling out like when I wanted something to be done specifically and just kind of like a goal that I wanted to complete that week. I also adopted a dog with my boyfriend, and she has been helping me a lot. Her name is Talby. She's super cute. I'll try to call her over. Talby, here. This is my dog. You can't really see her because she's a dog and she doesn't know she doesn't know how to do that, but she's super cute. She's got this little underbite thing that's going on. She sat down. so you might see her little ears. She never barks. She's been in here this whole time and you probably couldn't hear her at all. Oh, now she's leaving me. She's done. Bye, Tal. It's cool. I love you. So that made me be more active. I was eating enough, well, I was eating more food and mostly enough food most days so that I wasn't feeling as weak and tired anymore, and I don't know, the stars all aligned. And finally I was feeling happy and I was feeling healthy. I was feeling fulfilled because I was working on cosplay. I realized that I miss putting stuff up on YouTube and I miss editing for YouTube, and I don't want that to go away. So going forward, kind of what I have planned for this channel might not be what you want to see. I understand. If you want to leave, that's cool. I'm basically going to make whatever kind of videos I feel like, but a lot of it is probably going to be cosplay related. I just was at Fanime this last weekend, Memorial Day weekend, and I did film a vlog. I don't know how good it's gonna be. I'm also planning on filming a haul video after this of what I got at Fanime, sort of like I did last Fanime. And I might continue to do booktube videos, but I'm not sure. And the reason why is because I felt like I had to do videos about what I had read before I could like shelve my books, and I felt kind of restricted by what I could read, and I just don't want to do that anymore. I can't make any promises anymore about anything because there is absolutely no certainty in life, especially in my life, on what is going to happen next. I'm going to put up that haul video. I will put up the vlog video when that's done. I also filmed, I hesitate to call them tutorials, but I filmed some sort of tutorials, one for one of my wigs. It's more of kind of like a work log, but kind of like a tutorial. And I also made a hat for one of my cosplays, and I filmed the process of making that as well. So I'm going to be doing some different things here on this channel, and I hope that you stick around. I hope that you would like to see those things. I am going to be dropping some stuff that I made promises about in the past. For example, I will not be finishing my Ace Attorney series because I felt like I had to wait to watch those episodes and film and edit and upload those videos every time I wanted to watch another episode of Ace Attorney. And I don't want to feel like that about something that I love. So I'm probably just going to go ahead and finish that. And maybe I'll make a like wrap up of the whole series of what I thought it was, but maybe not. I don't know. I just wanted to do a quick little thing for anyone out there who is struggling with extremely painful periods and doesn't know why. I would highly suggest you go see a doctor, you get checked for fibroids, you get checked for cysts, and of course you go over the symptoms of endometriosis because it is possible that you have that. And as far as what to do after that, I don't know. Everybody's journey with this horrible, horrible disease is a little bit different, and I wish you the best of luck with that. Truly, I do, because it's hell. As I said in my future video that you haven't seen yet, I don't remember how I end these things. So, I mean, I sort of do, but not really. Still, this is gonna be really awkward, and just enjoy the awkwardness of me getting back into filming. So, thanks for that. I hope that you liked it. If you did, you should tell me in some form with a comment or a like or whatever. And I hope you're having a really great day. Okay, bye. If things go the way that they are laid out on the website, I should have my surgery sometime in August, maybe sooner if he suspects really bad things are happening down here. We are planning on going to Crunchyroll Expo at the end of August, and I will probably be vlogging that one as well. Those will be happening in the future. Ideally. I'm not making promises though. Okay? Kind of gross, but I described it to one of my friends as if I was passing Satan's baby. Oh, hi Bobo. Hi. Hi Bobo. Oh, you're so cute. You're so cute. You're thinking, wow, this is like the biggest mess of a video you've ever filmed. And you'd be right, except for the fact that I filmed this 5 other times. I haven't been staring at the lens, I've been staring at the thingy over here. So if my eyes are in the wrong place, I am sorry about that too, my friend. It just, life's not perfect.